Welcome to your favorite YouTube channel. Do not forget to like, comment, and click the red button below your screen to subscribe on Custom Reports TV.
Hello and thanks for staying with us. Our Customs Command made a total of 20 billion naira from demand notice from operators operating at the sector. Also on customs support, the Contract General of Customs speaks on revenue drive with members of National Assembly in Abuja. Plus more report. I am Egeseme Idinye. Stay tuned. The Custom Boss has told the National Assembly members that the service will continue to implement government policies in all formations. The CG said that the management will always implement measures that will stop smuggling and promote payment of duty to government.
Equal this thing. But if we begin to fall far below because the target is set so high, then there will be a problem. So I appeal that we look at these variables and consider the issue of raising the budget, the target to 1.6. We will return to 1.4, and I assure you anything collected beyond 1.4 will be reflected just like it is reflected in 2020. There's no doubt about that. But our projection is that some of these variables that are
sorry, Mr. CG, can you move your mic very close so that
some of these variables that are mentioned will have substantial effect on the collection of duty. So I want you to consider that, Mr. Chairman. Secondly, the issue of scanners. Mr. Chairman, we are more than anybody eager to have scanners at the port because of very many reasons. First and foremost, it will remove completely the issue of contact to contact. Secondly, it will aid us in fast-tracking the process because where we have to indulge on 100% inspection of a 40-feet container is tedious, is time-consuming. For us, you can scan this within 2 minutes and it's off. All we need is to get the details and then analyze it. So we are more than anybody eager to have scanners at the port. And that is why steps are being taken. Mr. Chairman, I want to take this opportunity to inform you and the honorable members that already Minister of Finance has bought 3 scanners, mobile scanners, based on emergency purchase. But this May, by the grace of God, those scanners will land the shores of Nigeria and we will deploy them. Then Central Bank, in its own intervention scheme, has also offered to provide 4 scanners for us. Those will be deployed in the 4 land borders entrances that have now been opened for business. The process is ongoing. The central bank is going to do the procurement and then hand over those ones to us. But the ultimate, Mr. Chairman and other members, is that the e-custom that we envisage will come into effect very soon has as part of its component 135 scanners that will be deployed in all our ports. That is sea, air, and land borders. So if we systematically take this, and by God's grace we are able to effect this, then in the next 1 or 2 years, the issue of scanners will be forgone, and our own trade facilitation process will improve. In fact, will pick up. And then we believe that the influx of arms that comes through approved routes, and I have repeated this, approved route, will completely be eliminated, because then we have the instrument to be able to detect these things in the containers or in whatever package they are. But the issue of influx of arms in this country does not come through the approved route alone. Some are carried on the back of donkeys through the unapproved route. Some are carried on the back of motorcycles through the approved route. And some of these communities that live in the borders are part of the scheme of moving these things into the country. We have recently lost officers and our vehicles. In fact, for vehicles, I've stopped counting because every day, every 2 days, I will have a report that our vehicles have been burnt. By who? By hoodlums in conjunction with smugglers. And these are border communities. So when we come and we talk about our interests in the border, what are we doing to also tell our constituencies that they must conform with the laws? They must follow the trend of events. In some places, as far as smuggling is concerned, they don't even know that it is wrong, it's against the law. It has happened in Congola when I went on visitation. After talking to the communities, I saw a woman and she greeted me and I asked her, why is your husband? She said he has traveled. I said, what does he do for a living? She said, don't smuggle. You know? What he does is smuggling. So as far as they are concerned, they don't even really know what is the difference between smuggle and it's a way of life. And unless we educate these people, and we have the responsibility, not only custom, everybody has the responsibility of educating these people on what is right and what is wrong. And that is the only way we, as custom, will be able to enforce the law and get it executed. But if you go and face people who are ignorant of even the law, the first thing to do is to even educate them. And we do not have the capacity to go on community education. We are doing the best we can. But I believe as a people, we have the holistic responsibility to do that to our communities. Mr. Chairman, your next issue is the 91, the retained funds. And you spoke about what amount in it is for recruitment. Mr. Chairman, in 2020, we budgeted 6.090 billion for recruitment. And in 2021, we have only spent not more than, now that...
Can you come again, sir? Can you come again?
In 2020, we budgeted 6.090 for recruitment. And then in 2021, we budgeted 8.115. In 2020, we did not...
Sorry, in 2020, there is, apart from that 6 billion, there's another 1.5 for appointment, recruitment, and something like that.
No, it is
It is two we add together. It gives us 7.6.
we have at the port the area controllers and their team. We have the FOU, Federal Operation Unit, and also we have the strike force. And because of the discretion and sometimes the indiscretion of our officers, where compromise is being made between the importers and our officers, we have to put other layers to check these things. And that is why you sometimes will find out, let me say this, that there are cloned custom documents going about. Agents will connive with our officers. When you pay as an importer, you give him the correct duty, he will calculate the correct amount of the duty you're supposed to pay with all charges. He gives you, and you give him the money. He will go and connive with a custom officer and reduce the distance. And then they clone the paper, and you take the vehicle out. For the FOU chap, as far as he's concerned, that paper you presented did not meet the requisite requirement. That happens sometimes to innocent importers. There are also importers who connive directly with the agents and reduce the duty. And then expect that that paper, when it's out, that is done. It's not like Bible and Quran, no. It's subject to checking. And if we discover that the value of the car that you are riding is not commensurate with the duty you pay, then you question. And let me also say, the issue of saying you buy a car for 180,000 naira or also euro. Cost duty of car is not only the value of the car you bought the car. There's cost of the vehicle, there's insurance, there's freight. All these are calculated to what you pay as duty. So sometimes we need to ask questions before we begin to fight the system. If they give you an amount, ask the customs officer, what is the composition of this amount? What are the subheads that makes up this total? He will explain to you. It's not only because you bought a car for 130 euro, and therefore you will come and just look at the cost of the car and then no. There's insurance, there's freight. All those are calculated and added to the value based on the cost. So you pay. That's what the law says. So it's not that so let us ask questions. I'm sure our officers will be able to explain some of these things. And that's why the issue of underpayment do arise. Because if you compromise, or your agent compromise, in most cases agent, now we have taken the steps in custom to prosecute agents, because we have discovered that agents are cheating importers. We will give they know the correct charges. They will calculate everything and give it to you, and you give them the money. They will go and take that money, and then if you say your car is 2018 or 2019, they will go and reduce that car to 2009, and then say it's accidental. And they know that the value will drop, and they will pay that. And when you bring that car out, and therefore you officer sees you with that car, and you present that document, he looks at the car, it does not meet that description, and therefore you are liable to pay another money. So this is what is happening. This is what is happening. And we are doing the best we can, but always ask the question. And that's why we're trying to automate the system. By e-custom, you can sit in your house. You want to import Mercedes 250E. You will see the freight, you will see what is the insurance on it, what is the freight on it. You calculate your duty. You can pay online without talking to anybody. Then you can ask an agent to go and collect it for you. It makes it easier. We are trying to automate the system. And once that is automated, this discretion will remove completely. And therefore, agents will not, but today, agents are one of our biggest problems. Because they give you a different listing, and they go and do a different thing. And they give you, when they collect the paper, you don't even know which one is genuine, which one is not genuine. As far as we are concerned, you have a genuine custom paper. But by the time the officer looks at it and says it's not genuine, the quarrel will start. How come, is it not from custom that it comes? It might not be from custom. It might not be from custom. So these are some of the things. But we are available for questions. And I want to grab the indulgence of members. If there's an incident that happened where you see that an officer or there's a likelihood of connivance or corrupt activity, please draw our attention. So we are saying any vehicle because the custom has a 7-year, any vehicle that is beyond 7 years should not be imported into this country. That's it. Because in the actual sense, the others are rickety. I've lived in the US. Most of them use their cars for 3, 4, 5 years, and they discard it. they discard it. Once a car gets to 7, 8, 10 years, it's off road. But we go and pick it and bring it here and then believe that it's a new car. And so once we have a limit, it's better for us so that we have a roadworthy cars.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Customs Area Controller in charge of Upper Customs Command has blocked all loopholes in the command. The controller said that the command made 20 billion naira from demand notice within few weeks in Apapa. The Customs Command also made 159 billion naira between the month of January and March 2021. The controller took off time to explain the working of the service in Apapa.
The sensitization program we are embarking on by the compliance seat set up in this command. Because people are talking about trade facilitation, and they don't know what is trade facilitation. And that is why we try to bring it to the fore, to make people understand that trade facilitation is nothing but harmonization of procedures. And how did you harmonize procedures? Trade facilitation is not about transfer of value in your consignment. So you transfer value in your consignment, you are talking about trade facilitation. You have already misused the word trade facilitation. Trade facilitation is not about false declaration. Trade facilitation is not about transfer pricing. Trade facilitation is not about concealment. Trade facilitation is not about wrong description and classification. Trade facilitation is not about deliberate and conscious effort to genuinely declare the content and the correct value of your import. And that is it. Declare the content and the true value of your import vis-a-vis the description of the cargo as well as the HS code therein. And that is how you will now ask for trade facilitation. Because if you are going for equity, go with clean hand. And that is why we say the predictivity, in trade facilitation, the predictivity of your import clearance is the function of honest declaration. When you make a honest declaration, you find out that you will know when your cargo will be in the port, how long it's going to stay in the port, and the duty that you're going to pay. Because it is very clear, value is stated based on what? Your true invoice. The word true invoice, true final invoice. If you didn't declare the true final invoice, you mutilated your invoice, you doctored your invoice, you cannot talk of trade facilitation. And that means you must make sure that you are honest in your declaration, you are honest in in description of cargo, as well as you must be honest in what is called classification of the item. So to be sure of your import clearance decision and outcome, honest declaration is the watchword. To be sure of your import clearance decision and outcome, honest declaration is the watchword. And that is why we now see now that, okay, the role of customs in the 21st century is to ensure consistent stakeholders' engagement. And that's one of the important things. All the supply chain stakeholders have to be carried along so that whatever innovation, whatever procedures, and whatever that is there, everybody will be carried along. And that's why you see recently we talk about harmonization of procedures, we talk about stakeholders engagement, we talk about information sharing within the stakeholders. And that is why we said we are service-oriented, though we do not claim perfection. Be quick to tell us our shortcoming, and we quick to commend our good service. So what we are saying here is that we are service provided. Even though we do not claim that we are perfect, we must have some problem here and there, but in our imperfection, be quick to tell us so that we can correct ourselves. And also, we know our shortcoming, and be quick to commend us when we are good to you, and when the service has done well for you, just like what we have today. You understand? You come with an issue, we resolve the issue, talk about how custom has assisted in resolving the issue. It's not only about castigating custom. No. Custom are doing their best. You do your best from your own side. If customs are not doing well, bring scenario where we are not doing well and we correct it.
The customs controller in charge of Federal Operation in Zone C, Owerri, has made a total of 1.2 billion naira in the first quarter of 2021. The controller of the unit said that the unit also seized over 2,000 bags of foreign rice from smugglers. The unit seized 2,976 bags of foreign rice, 1,000 cartons of various kinds of medicaments without approval for NAFDAC. The unit also seized 290 cartons of foreign Eva soap, 294 cartons of foreign tomato, 130 jumbo bales of used clothing, 5,200 live ammunition cartridges, and 6 exotic cars without government approval.
Following our anti-smuggling drives between January to March 2021, we have intercepted various contraband within our areas of jurisdiction, which covers South-South, Southeast zones with a duty paid value of 1,280,885,011 naira only.
A total of 7 million naira was recovered for demand notice raised within the month under review. He called on Nigerians to support the federal government on the fight against smuggling in the country.
Based on our intervention, we recovered the sum of 7,557,731 naira only from demand notices raised, making a cumulative sum of 1,288,442,742 naira only within the month under review.
He urged the smugglers to take advantage of social intervention programs of the federal government, especially in the area of agriculture, and improve on their lives. He also warned against importation of contraband into Nigeria. The Federal Operation in Zone A has smashed a syndicate that specialized in smuggling rice through the unapproved routes into the country. The unit also made seizures worth billions of naira in the first quarter of 2021. The unit also seized cannabis, tramadol, rice, and a container loaded with Eva soap worth over 40 million naira. The unit seized 80 vehicles used smuggling items into the country worth over 3.1 billion naira within 3 months.
Now, intercept this quantity of 42 drums of this carbide explosive. And this is the items used in concealing this one. That is to tell you how dangerous this substance is. They know that they cannot just bring them like that, since we are there. So they have decided now to use a cover. You can now see. This is modern fufu. That is what they now cover it with, so as to now find their way. Of which case they landed in our restaurant.
So, which country is this cover?
In fact, this one, they were being intercepted at Sango Ota. And Sango Ota is en route to the Republic of Benin. So that's to tell you that it's coming back from across, that is the Republic of Benin. And they have now abandoned the approved route, but they use illegal route to bring in this large content of this carbide. In fact, this tramadol is being apprehended along border. You know, nowadays, they are all the time fun off. If they move to this site, they'll fail. The next time, they will change route. So it may be coming from across at the same time. But as long as we are there, they will not see the light of the day.
Custom Boss says that a total of 242 million naira was collected by customs by raising demand notice on goods not paid for in the country. The unit also smashed a syndicate that specialized in smuggling rice into the country through the unapproved road. A total of 20,000 bags of rice was impounded by the unit.
You know, for us as Federal Operation Officers, as a unit, we cover the whole zone, that is Zone A. So in fact, in the process of doing our job, this is where we could be able to now intercept all these rights you are seeing. A very big thank you to our leadership and the management, because we have been given all it takes, that is the logistics and support. That is why you see me having that confidence. We have, today you can see a custom officer is always proud of what he does. All because of what? The incentives and the support given to us.
According to him, Section 158 of Customs and Extra Management Act, Cap C45, amended, allow customs to patrol areas without restriction. He warned would be important to desist from the act of smuggling into the country. Before I round up this week edition of the program Customs Report, we brought you a report where the Upper Customs Command made a total of 20 billion naira for demand notice from importers who are refusing to pay the right duty to government. For me, Igeseme Edine, thanks for watching.
TV. Do not forget to subscribe.